All right, we back with another 5 a.m. club after hours. How you guys doing?
Doing good about yourself.
Doing great, doing well. Adrian, we can't hear you, Adrian.
Can hear me still?
We can hear you now.
Oh, I'm like, dang, technical difficulties already.
But yeah, I know this Obama situation. I wouldn't call it a situation, but I think people have been misinterpreting or didn't hear the complete video. But we're going to talk about it anyway. I know everyone see the viral clip going on about Obama saying that you don't need a dad. You know, you should have, a gay man can raise a boy. But we're gonna get some takes on that. So I'm gonna go ahead and play the clip, and then we'll talk about it. Let me pull it up here. Make sure it's the right one. All right, let's hear Mr. President.
Gay professor in college at a time when openly
Yes.
gay folks still weren't out of line, who became one of my favorite professors and was a great guy and would call me out when I started saying stuff that was ignorant. You need that
Well,
to show empathy and kindness. And by the way, you need that person in your friend group so that if you then have a boy who's gay or non-binary or what have you, they have somebody that they can go, okay, I'm not alone in this.
Yeah.
Right. So that I think is creating that community. I know it's corny, but that's what they need.
And we talk a lot about what we had with our mother and father, right? And a lot of times but we really did have a big community of people in our lives.
Right.
I mean, that we don't talk.
Gay professor in.
All right, so that's a little bit of the clip. Let me go ahead and go back to the main screen. Have another clip, but let's talk about that first. So, should young boys have a gay mentor or father figure that is gay, raising them or giving them gems growing up? I have my own take on it, but I'll leave the floor open to you guys first.
Go ahead, you got it, Donnie. Yeah.
You throwing me under the bus with that one?
I'm just throwing you the oop, man.
I got you.
Passing it off to LeBron.
So I think oftentimes it's like, what would be wrong with him saying just a good male role model, somebody that got good character, somebody that's respectful and that has a lot of love. I think the qualities that it takes to raise young people is just good people, solid people, and I think that oftentimes it's kind of like just to single somebody out because this you need a gay man in your life to raise you as a child. I think that's subjective. I think it's kind of skewed because it's a lot of, if you just look at the history, it's a lot of men that were raised by single mothers that became good men. It's a lot of men that had a two-parent home that was good men. It's a lot of men, that had other people that didn't have these things. You just got to look back at the track record, and they became good men. So to say that, I think sometimes it's a little narrow-minded. You know, I think that it's important for us to know that kids are they're easily influenced, so they need people with character. They need love. They need to be taught what it is to know God. I think that's if you want to identify anybody. I think for me that's the marker that you want to put, somebody that knows God.
No, I think you hit it right on the head, right? And in the clip, the things he said that the professor did for him had nothing to do with him being gay, right? He talked about the empathy and the accountability. That has nothing to do with the man's sexual orientation at all, right? So you hit it right on the head, Donnie. It's about the character of the man. It's about men that will show us empathy and compassion, but accountable, right? The more, the merrier, right? Those are now me being a heterosexual male. I don't hang out. Like, I got a few friends. Yeah, they friends. I got a few friends, but at the same time, I'm not pushing them away, but I'm not inviting them in either. Right. Like, if my son was to have a gay teacher, like, that's fine. My job is to prepare you for the world. But as a man, I'm definitely going to make sure I'm the first teacher. And that's the importance of us being in the homes and being present. Right. She talked about how, women can't do it alone. The solution is simple: give men their kids. I think it's way more men nowadays, especially men that look like us, that give us our kids. We're stepping up. There's several studies that show we're the most involved in our children's lives now in everything. So this narrative that we are not there or not present for our kids is false. Women just got to give them to us, and on our end, we got to fight for them as well too, right? We got to learn about court, invest in a lawyer, save up, and do the things that we need to do. Unfortunately, we are in these situations, but we pick the women to have the kids with too, right? So we can't put it all on them. So I think it's both. Women, let us have more access to our kids. Men, fight for your kids to be present, and then we set the tone. Then it really is not going to matter what the outside world is teaching them.
Mm, mm, okay. Yeah, so I give my take now. I'm gonna say, all right. So with how do you even know he was gay though? Like what you said was very prevalent. Like how did he know that the professor was gay? Because I'm pretty sure you don't go to school, you don't go around just asking, "Are you gay?" So it really didn't matter if he was gay or straight, as long as he gave you those gems and showed character and made sure that you were being a good person, right? Um, I'm not saying I'm an extremist with things, but I'm very black and white, right? So like even it don't matter if the man is gay, if the man is a gangbanger, it doesn't matter if you've been in prison, it doesn't matter any of that. I'm gonna want my sons, all three of them, to be around me and learn from me because I want them to be in the image of me like we are in the image of our father. So I want to install different things into them. Like, I teach them certain lessons and be a teacher and things like that? No, I can't. But that's your job to teach them lessons in school, and that's it, right? You may run into like mentors and things like that that they may listen to, but at the end of the day, I feel like they're going to come back and say, "Daddy, he said this. What do you think about it?" And then I'm gonna give him my insight on it, and I'm gonna tell him what I feel is because he is my blood, my flesh. He's gonna be what they. I keep saying he. I have three, so they are going to be like me in that sense. And the way that I raise them, that's going to show. So they're not going to be bad people. They're not going to be people that need character adjustments or make sure that, oh, you're being ignorant because I'm not raising them that way. So I think it was very subjective what he said. Like as to Donnie's point, he came from a certain situation and we can only speak to our past experiences and our past programming. I don't think that he meant anything by like everyone is blowing it up to be. He was just speaking from his experience and saying, "Well, I had a gay professor, and he gave me a lot of good tools to use and called me out." But like you said, Adrian, anybody could do that. Your mama could have did that. Like it doesn't matter if the person is gay. A dog could tell you like you're going the wrong way if he bark loud enough. Like, no, don't go that way. So I don't care if it's a dog, man. Like it's certain things that just doesn't make sense to me when people are trying to push a narrative on someone. And like I told Adrian, I don't even think he wanted to answer the question.
Yeah.
if you look at him and the way that his body is moving and how he kind of sighed and took a long time to think about it, it was like he was put on the spot and he didn't want to. You know how we don't want to have an altercation with our wives, and you're like, oh, I get home, I'm like, hey, see, I said, why you say that? Like, you know, like, yo, you shouldn't even brought me up here. That's what I would have said. I would have said what I wanted to say, and then, like, truthfully, and I would have told him, like, don't bring me on your show anymore if you don't want me to speak my truth. I can't speak your truth. I want to speak my truth. And I don't know if he spoke his truth. I don't. I'm not just making assumptions here, but that's how I feel about it.
Nah, so I got a question, man, and I don't know what all you got prepared. So it is kind of a shift, but we gonna flow, right? We figuring out how this
Mhm.
thing kind of go. But as you hit on the point of, not wanting to get into it with his wife possibly getting back at home, I would love to get y'all thoughts on the quote, slogan, whatever, of happy wife, happy life. I would love to get y'all thoughts on that.
Donnie, you want to go? You want me to go first?
You could go first.
All right. So, well, Adrian, he kind of cheating because he already know a lot of stuff. He already know a lot, but he a therapist here, my therapist. But so this is the thing with happy wife, happy life. I feel like if the wife is unhappy, then the whole house gonna be unhappy. But that doesn't mean that you sacrifice your happiness to cater to every little thing that makes her happy because emotions are not permanent, right? So if she's angry or she feels some type of way in that moment, you have to be able to understand and see what the situation needs at that moment. Maybe it doesn't need for you to react right then. So I think both individuals need to be happy, but they both have to be understanding. But more so, the man has to be understanding more so than the woman at times because they are very emotional and emotions can run rapid. And that's not demeaning any woman by saying like your emotions. It's just we have higher testosterone levels and they have higher estrogen levels. That's your body. That's biology. So you are supposed to be more emotional than a man, right? And like I told my wife once before, I'm like, my emotions come out through aggressiveness, right? Not aggressiveness towards her, but it's just like when we get into something, our muscles tense up, you know, our adrenaline start pumping. That's just our body, right? Because we like lifting, like pushing. It's like our body makeup is different from theirs. When their emotions rise, you may see them tear up. They may feel like anger, but like what I've learned from being in therapy is anger is another form of fear, right? And this is not just coming from Adrian, but I've read into this. Like when you get angry with someone, it's because you're scared of something happening. You're trying to protect yourself, but you don't want to show that weak person. You don't want to cry. So the only other emotion that you can give, because you're not going to laugh, so you're going to get angry. Anger and sadness are very close related. So think about it when someone dies, you either get mad or you cry. So I think that happy people, not happy wife, happy life. I think happy people, persons, happy house, and that'll just make the whole situation better.
I like that. I definitely think when you kind of like you give too much control to just one individual from that perspective, and I think everybody's happiness or joy matters. One of the things I think about happiness, it has a lot to do with what's happening. So
Mm,
that's that is important because it's like sometimes it's like even with the gym, like getting up and being systematic and being responsible and going, you might don't like it, because of it's tough, it's not easy, but it's for a reason. So sometimes we have to do things that don't make us happy for the short term, but has pay dividends in the long term. Like, I know alongside what you were saying about, emotions, a lot of times our emotions depict our happiness. We're emotional beings, and sometimes feelings can get in the way of our faith. One of the things I know about, like you said, the way we're wired. I used to hear back in the day, like if we were at a war, right? We had a world war, and we kind of had a war with Russia, and they sent bombs over, and we sent bombs back. They say some of the women be say, well, they killed all those women and children, and all of them died, but the men would be thinking more from a protective, like we got to make sure that we're safe and we're prepared. And I think oftentimes is that's how men see the world, is that we look at from more protective perspective. So sometimes the things that we do is not to make our wives unhappy, but to make sure that they're safe. Like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, I think sometimes we want to make sure, look, man, we safe first. We got water, we got food. Let me take care of this stuff. And I know you probably don't like the way I'm doing it, but I see the need for it.
Yeah, I like how you threw that through them hierarchy of needs in there. That was fine.
So before you go, AJ, something stood out to me when you said that the war, right? People talk about war like we can cater to everyone. Like we can't cater to every country. And that's coming from me that's been in the military. Like, do you know if we are to bend at every country's will, their country will be here and we will be living like they live in their country. So this is not a political talk or anything like that, but I just know if you don't protect your home, it's just like someone walking in your house and they weren't invited. Are you going to tell them to get out, or are you just going to feed them when they're trying to cause harm to you? Now, I'm not saying to kill everybody or just be mean to everyone, but you do need to be able to determine who's right for you, who you need to work with, who to let in your house. You're not going to let anybody in your house because you don't know what they may do when they get there. So that emotional, like, oh, we just need to be equal. We don't need any hierarchy. We just need to be peaceful with every country. Every country does not think like that. They think of power. If you show any sign of weakness, then they're going to come take all you have. And can't let anybody in your house. Well, go ahead, Adrian. I know I went on a segue, but that just touched me in another way.
Hey, ain't nothing wrong with it, man. That's what we here for, When it come, when it hit, just let it go. But yeah, absolutely, man. I love the way both of y'all broke that thing down. But to both of y'all point, it's an emotion. So you never want to prioritize nobody's emotion, but it is a key critical factor. I think when I hear it so many times, I just think about all of the men that I work with, right? Or the couples, and I hear the man, hey, I did this because I thought I was trying to make you happy. I ain't tell you to do that though. You know what I'm saying? Or men will start to seclude themselves, and it's like, okay, the wife is the only person that matters in the marriage, and it's like no, right? How can we lead through serving? How can we make sure that we're seeing everything from a clear lens if we're not giving ourselves what we need to as the head of the family? You know what I'm saying? If we're not putting structure and putting things in place for us as well too. And so it's really like neither is right, but it should more so be like a husband who is healed and well taken care of and has the things that he needs, the more happy the family should ultimately be. And I just don't like the fact how men will forget about ourselves in everything. We'll isolate. Now we don't even want to have conversations, right? So rather than learning how to communicate effectively with the woman or with our wives, it's, I'm just going to shut down and just give her whatever she wants because that's going to make her happy. When really we don't even know. And so I think it's like us as men, man, we have to get the tools needed. We have to learn the skill set, right? And to your point, Dominique, and you too, Donnie, sometimes it ain't about how she feels. Forget how she feels in some things, right? But there is a place for it. And so I think we do need to understand a woman's emotions, because we'll say we're logical, and for the most part, that's correct. But once you learn how a woman is built and how she moves and how she is impacted by her emotions, you can then use logic when dealing with her, right? With meeting that emotional need first before you go straight to jumping in defense mode or, oh, why you don't listen to me? Give her that empathy. Barack was talking about it with the gay guy. You know what I'm saying? Give her that empathy first. Let her know, okay, I understand you. This is why you feeling this way. Validated. Okay, so what are your thoughts about this? Rather than just pointing the finger or feeling like she's against you, etc. But I definitely would like to see more husbands prioritizing what they need as well. So that's all.
I'd like to add to that. I love that for real. And, you know, I think it's so cool. I guess how you say one thing that like open another door. But I think like for the emotional side of us men, I believe in life. You got peacekeepers and peacemakers. You know what I'm saying? A peacekeeper is a person that's saying, I don't want to offend you. I just want to go along to get along. But there's a level of confusion or there's just unease. But a peacemaker actually deals with the issue. So there's real solidified peace. And I think that's really what the end result is to become the great relationship, the marriage. Like, you know, I don't want to just kind of exist or just say I want to do these things, but I want to see how can we make this good? How can we make this great? How can we make this elite? How can we be honest and transparent? And, you know what I'm saying, and get to the end, to having success in our marriage and our relationships. And I think sometimes we kind of settle, we kind of be like, well, this is what it's going to be, when we don't really have to do that. You know, I believe like the word is so real. It's like, you know, there's that God allows, he's the only person that can come between two people and bring them closer. So we can put God in between the husband and the wife. He actually makes us closer because of the fellowship and the intimacy and the vulnerability as men that we show our wives, you know what I'm saying? But still being a man, you know, that I'm not afraid to say, yeah, you know, this is what I felt in this moment, that I don't lose anything by saying that, you know, but I'm still able to put on those boots and make decisions and protect my family and do all those things. As men, we wear so many hats, man. It's like, you know, and I think we have to get comfortable in almost each and every one of them. And the more we are comfortable, the better it is.
Yeah, I'm gonna add on to that too because I just experienced that maybe last month. So my wife and I, we won't see eye to eye. I think it was, I don't know how many weeks ago it was, but we're it's not like often that we don't see eye to eye, right? Because we have a great time together. So I think we went somewhere. We're coming back with some Monday, and we were just like, just not, you won't clicking that day, and like that's what happens when you're married. Just was not clicking that day, and I was like, "You gonna go to Bible study? We going to Bible study, right?" And then right after Bible study, you right back clicking. It's like you need an outlet sometimes, right? And God will be your outlet. You know, even if we're mad, you know, let's go ahead and pray, and then we right back happy. And it's funny because so many times we don't want to do what's going to make us feel better.
Yeah.
It's crazy as people. We don't want to do what's going to make us feel better. And we go towards what's going to make us feel worse for some reason. Like, think about when you're out there and you're drinking, you're drinking, and you know you drink a lot. Your head gonna be hurting, you're gonna be sick the next day, but that don't stop you from drinking. And then you can't do anything the next day. This is when I was younger, drinking a lot and just like, oh man, I can't do nothing. Waking up at 12 o'clock and even like drinking before you go to work. Now I don't want to go to work. Now I'm dragging at work. And you know that was going to happen when when you started drinking. You were like, oh, I'm a drink. And now you're drinking and now you don't want to do anything. But it doesn't make sense why we go towards the things that we truly should not be doing, knowing that it's going to hurt us. It's just something I was just thinking about. So
That's bread though, man. And I think it's because we like what's familiar to us. You know what I'm saying? Rather than deal with these emotions, let me go drink it away. So I don't got to deal with that vulnerability. I don't got to deal with feeling like somebody hurt me. I don't got to deal with feeling inadequate or like I'm not good enough, right? I don't got to sit in it. We love familiarity, man. But so it was funny. I was on this podcast like a year ago, right? And they crushed me because they was like, yo, should men be open and vulnerable with their wives? And I was like, not right off gate. You might got to prep them a little bit, right? Because a lot of women they weren't taught how to handle a man's vulnerability. And because it's mishandled so much, we rather retreat, right? And what we say, hey, if I talk, all it's going to be is a back and forth, and eventually it's going to be flipped around to what I need to do. It's going to be put back on me, so let me not say nothing, period, right? So I'm just like, yo, teach her or explain to her or have the conversation with her so that she knows how to respond to you when you get that way, right? So I had to tell my wife, babe, if I'm telling you how I feel, whether it's mad, sad, or whatever, the only time you can ask questions is just to get understanding. Don't tell me what I need to do. Don't tell me how I need to handle it. Don't tell me how it could have been prevented. Oh, so when I did ABC, that's what made you feel that way? Yeah, that's why I felt that way. Okay. And then if I keep going, let me keep going. If you don't know what to say, don't say nothing. Just sit there and give me them nonverbal. Shake your head. Show me a little sad face, some empathy. Like, dang, okay. That's all you do in that moment. That is it. So once you now tell her how to deal with you, then give her some grace, give her an opportunity, of course, to grow in it. But and y'all know this. I know. I'm sure both of y'all have experienced being vulnerable. That thing got shut right back in your face. You like, you know what? I ain't gonna say nothing else about it.
Oh man. So I can agree, but I don't even need you know how I am. So I don't
Yeah.
even need you to give me no suggestions on what I need, like what I could do better to cope with what I'm going through. Because I told my wife, I said, only thing I want you to do when I'm going through something, I don't want you to fix it. I don't want you to try to solution it. You could hold my hand and you could just touch me and I'll be okay. That's all you need to do is just touch me and let me calm myself down, and then I'm going to figure it out. Like I'm going to get it. And my wife had a thing where when I used to tell her or be vulnerable with her, she felt like, oh, I got to jump in and help. But jumping in and helping, that's not helping me. That's really making stuff worse sometimes. If I ask you to do something, it's because I know it's going to help me, but I don't need you doing something outside of me. And then I'm not expecting that. Right. So I learned, I ain't gonna say a long time ago, 'cause I ain't been married in 30 years. I've been married like going on 5. But what I learned early was just tell her what you want. Like you just said, Adrian, like I really just need you to touch me or hold me, and then I'm gonna get back to trucking because I just need a recharge. I need like a spark. It's like your battery died, and that touch is just like jumper cables. So now you get that spark, and I might spawn an idea from that touch. I'm like, okay, oh, I won't thinking about it. Okay, now let me go fix it, and I'm back moving. But I don't need you telling me like this is what you need to do to fix this because you don't even know how I got into this situation. So let me control that, and when I need you, I'll let you know. But I don't need you to solution anything. Just like sometimes they don't need us to solution; they just need us to ask for understanding.
Facts. Hold on, I got a question for you right quick, Donnie. If you want to
Yeah.
touch it up, but go ahead. Say what you was gonna say.
No, along with that, like for real, like the Bible says, like for wives, love your husband. Well, wives respect your husband, but it tells the husbands to love their wives. It's like I think it's so unique how for us, if they really love us, they respect us. It's
Hmm.
like so it's like we take things like if you do things in disrespect or if you step out of it, then that's not love to us. So we need to be respected. We need to be, to have that level of respect in our home and just in general. You know, if a wife really want her husband to go crazy for her, when she make him like the king and say, you come on, baby, you the man and all that stuff, you know, that feed us. So it's like, and I think, but along those lines, it's like when we you know, a lot of times when we show love and make them feel, you know, protected, we bring that feminine energy out. So go ahead, bro.
All right, so well, since you went, this for both of y'all now then, right? Because Dominique, you hit it when you talked about what we need, right? I hear so many women saying they need the same thing when they bring us a problem. I don't need you to fix it. I don't need no feedback. I just need you to kind of listen and show the empathy. So why is it that we struggle when that's pretty much the same thing we be wanting too?
You want the honest answer? Or you want the political answer?
Answer it however you want to answer it.
So I'm gonna say this right. They don't need us when they're in heighten. They don't need us to solution anything when they're in heighten. But when they come down, they want answers. So that's from my experience. I'm not saying everyone's experience is the same thing, but when someone is just emotional, mad, sad, and they just want you to listen, that's just because they want you to listen. But the difference between I feel a man and a woman is when I say I just want you to touch me, I'm done after that. I'm not gonna come back to you and say, okay, how are we gonna figure this out? No, because I'm naturally a solutioner. Like I solution problems for a living. So when a woman says, like, I just want you to listen, it's in that moment they want you to listen, not listen and then not come back to it because they're going to want to revisit it and they're going to want to talk through it. They're going to want your perspective. What should I do because I can't figure it out? And that's because they confine in you. They believe that you can fix anything. And my wife told me this before. She's like, I looked to you for everything because I just knew that you could fix everything. Which I'm human. I can't fix everything, but I can try to, right? And that's what she respects about. And that's why I respect about her is she listens to me. She makes me feel like I am able to do anything. So that's my perspective. I don't think they want to no. Here, listen, when they come down, go ahead and fix it fast.
So I realize when you're dealing with women, man, nothing is final. It's able to change. So it's like, you know, I think there might be times where, you know, they want a solution, they'll bring a problem to you, something they're dealing with. And, you know, but you can't take for granted that that's what they're gonna want the next time. Cause, you know, they'll be like, well, I ain't, you know, and it's like I think just learning, like, you know what I'm saying? Like what I think is so important is like growing emotionally, having like, you know, we hear word like emotional maturity, like this so important. I feel like in order to really grow in life, you got to be in control of your feelings, your emotions. And I think like you know, somebody offends us, we want to show them how we show them back that we offended. It's like anger is a secondary emotion. So a lot of times what happens is like anger is a way for us to take our power back. Like you know how like if like the wife do something and we get angry, like just don't touch me, don't say nothing. But I'm learning now even like how to like to say, okay, let me humble myself in this situation. Let me like, what's the best result? Like how am I allowing my emotions to charge my response? And this is not easy, but it's so important to getting to a mature level because a lot of times when you respond to your emotions, you know, it's like it's more of a reaction than a response, you know. So I think just learning, you know, learning your person and learning yourself. I believe a man without self-control is reckless. So in this situation, I can't control my spouse, but I can control myself. And what I've learned, man, a soft answer turneth away wrath. You know, learning how to, you know, speak life.
Nah, that's good stuff. And as you was talking, I was thinking, yo, I hate feelings, yo. I love emotions, right? We all got emotions, but well, I feel like that was wrong. Well, that's not a feeling or an emotion, right? That's really a thought. So when people be having them feelings that are thoughts, boy, that's one of the hardest things to come up against. But I think the most important thing, man, is because we're all right? But you have to learn your person. You have to stay curious and don't never assume that you got it, because we're always changing, especially as we go through different things, right? Like kids, career changes, working, not working, right? We got to stay curious, because if you stay curious, that'll lead you to ask questions from a standpoint that doesn't seem like you're questioning them, right? So, dang, so she did what? Okay, after that, then what happened? Oh, so is that why I made you? Oh, okay, cool, I got it. That's totally different version. Well, why you even let that bother you then? Like, that don't make no sense. You know what I'm saying? But genuinely staying curious about getting to know the person and not assuming just because y'all been married for a long time or even a short time, man. I think that's the biggest thing in terms of being able to give each other what they need, right? Because how can I give you what you need if I don't take the time to study you and to learn you and to relearn you on a regular basis? So yeah, I know I got us all the way off, man, but this was good though.
Nah, that's good. That's good. That's what we're here for. But I know we're right at time, so I think we're right at time. We have a minute left. But is there anything that you guys want to say? Anything that you have upcoming that you can look out for, or you want people to tune into before I give my wrap up?
I could say like on Monday nights from 7 to 45, I do. It's like we go through the Bible and we just bring out different scriptures and just try to build life. It's something I've been doing now since like COVID for about 4 years. It's like I have people tapping in from North Carolina, from here, and it's just been it's been a great experience. I know when we couldn't get in service, it was something that kept us connected, and it's a great outlet. So been doing it now on Zoom, and it lasts probably about like 45 minutes. So that's something that I'm kind of been consistent with, and that's available. And I can put the link out too, so if anybody will want to.
Yeah, I'll put that in. It's in the Discord already, but I'll put it in the school community as well and in the Facebook group that we have as well. Adrian, what about you?
All right, so I'm not just saying it's just because my wife and I created it, but we made this fire couples journal, yo. It is fire. And it's for a year long. So it has 52 different prompts. It has a scripture. It has different things that, couples could do, whether you married or engaged or just seriously dating. But it's designed to kind of block the world out and make sure that y'all have time to just kind of spend with each other, to align, to realign. It has different questions. So like one of the questions is like, what's the question you wish I asked more? Right. And so we made sure we actually did it and wrote in it and used it so that we could see the value of it before we kind of put it out there. So yeah, you can find that at our website at acceleratedelevation.com. If you follow us on Instagram at Accelerated Elevation, if you like the post and DM me, I'll send you a code for 25% off. Until this week, though, you got this week. Don't come trying to watch it later on. And hey, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and all of that information will be in the school community, on the Facebook group page, all over social media. In the comments here, I'm promoting these guys as much as possible, right? Because it's well needed. We're a well-rounded group. We don't have Gene because he got watched tonight. He's in the Navy still, but he's a very knowledgeable young man. He's a little bit younger than I am, but this is what it's about: bringing everyone together, making sure that we have resources that we can use and that are valuable resources that we can grow and be motivated to keep doing the best work that we can do. So as for me, I have the school community. The school community is a community where you can find different coaching mentors, business resources, faith resources, all in one, right? So it's called HSI's University School of Coaching, entrepreneurs actually. So it's entrepreneurs, but anyone can join because it's full of information from workouts to business advice to these recorded sessions if you don't see it on YouTube, and even private sessions that we will have with in-depth discussions about real um more controversial topics as well. So if you're not in the community, it's free. It's a free community up to 100 people. We are at about 20 right now, just started last week. So it's growing pretty rapidly. So get in as fast as you can. But that's all I have for tonight, guys. Thanks for joining. And we'll be back in 2 weeks. Every other week we record. So thanks everyone for joining.
Hey, child, salute.